You're right, everyone, welcome back to the Hammer and Talk 2 YouTube channel. I wanted to speak about a couple of things at West Ham United that's obviously a little bit off subject to my first channel. First thing I want to speak about, I'm going to dive straight in and speak about Cheikhou Kouyaté, and I want to know if he has a place at West Ham United. I think for me, I think the way we've been playing recently, and you know, since obviously he's been dropped, I think we've been playing really well. He is very useful though. I think maybe there is some reason, like, you know, the versatility of Cheikhou Kouyaté I think is very important. That, you know, if we do have a really bad centre-back crisis, he can go there as an emergency. And obviously I think it was Anderlecht that he come from. If we get a right back you know, situation going on where they get injured, he can go there. He's a makeshift right back as well. He might not be really good there, but he can cover in that position, and you know, for an emergency situation does pop up. I think that's really important when you've got a player that can play in, you know, quite a few different positions. We know he can play in centre mid, we know he can play in like a defensive midfielder role, centre back obviously, and you know, he does play slightly right back, he can, so he's very handy. So I think that there's a part of me now that I'm trying to weigh up, you know, if he should be going, if we should be looking at selling him, or we should be looking at keeping him. Reasons why I do think we should obviously keep him is because of the versatility, you know, and I think sometimes in squads that can be so priceless to have a player there that can go in so many different positions, because the worst thing you want to do is, you know, go for an injury crisis at a certain position and there be no one there. You've got no players, and you've got players that never ever play there, or ain't at all competent in playing in that position, you know. But with him you won't have no issues with that, so you know, that is a really big plus. I think another thing is, you know, let's go through a couple of his abilities. I think his aerial threat is a very big plus as well. Yeah, we've got quite a tall squad as it is at West Ham, you know, when we play the likes of Carroll and Collins, obviously you've got Reed there, if Kouyaté is there as well, you know, we've got I'll say relatively tall players that can be quite threatening. So you know, that's another thing as well. I think him coming, you know, being in a squad that can whip balls in, you know, you can get quality balls in, like Lanzini putting them in, or Masuaku or Cresswell whipping good balls in. He can be really handy if you use him properly. I'm not 100% sure if Moyes knows how to use Kouyaté right now. It seems to be that he's had a couple of games and now he's like, no, just stay out now for a little while, stay out. I don't know if he's put him aside maybe just to, you know, think about how to utilise him, and you know, how he wants to use him in this squad. But maybe there's a chance here that maybe he doesn't have a place in David Moyes' starting 11. Like maybe that he's got no plans, like David Moyes has no plans for that kind of player, you know, the way he plays at West Ham United. Strange thing is though that one of his favourite players that we know is definitely one of his favourites is Fellaini, and he's very similar in terms of the aerial threat, and he can move pretty quick as well. Kouyaté, he's quite quick for a tall. He's not quick, but he's quick for a tall guy, like Fellaini is. I think Fellaini is quite quick for a tall dude. I'm not saying he's a quick player, but for his height, I think they're actually quite impressive, those two. So it does make me think maybe, I don't know, maybe he's thinking about bringing Fellaini in the January transfer window. Maybe this is what Moyes is doing, you know, because I've been thinking, why is he not playing Cheikhou? Why is Cheikhou kind of being frozen out? And for me, I don't think it's a bad thing, because I think this year he's been terrible. I don't think he's been really good at all all this year at West Ham. I think it's been really bad, and I think it's like for the last season as well, he wasn't really good. You know, he just played the odd good game against a big team, and you know, you don't want to be that kind of player that gets linked with just being a player that plays against a big team, like the odd big team. You know, I mean, there's a couple of Newcastle players that's done it. You know, they do it and they like, you know what, against this game, like what Diame does. You know, you play against a big team and then all of a sudden you want to play well. You know, Sissoko as well. Sissoko's done it many a times, you know. I mean, that guy, he's the biggest for it. He goes quiet most of the season. He comes up against Man United, plays a worldy game, and everyone, all of a sudden the headlines are on him, you know, because maybe he wants to move, or he's just not consistent enough as a performer. I think probably the things going against Kouyaté is probably his mobility, in terms of balance on the ball. Like he's not very agile. He just runs in a straight direction, or slightly just changes does change his angle of his run, but he can't. He's not like Lanzini. He can go there and all of a sudden he's running in that direction. Running in that direction. I think that's a real big thing against him, that he doesn't have that, because in the Premier League you've got to have that agility, that balance on the ball, and I don't know if maybe if teams are figuring him out now, the way he does run in that, if you like, route one way, he just runs in straight lines, and he hasn't made them like midfield bursting runs in a long time at West Ham. Long gone are those days when he used to burst through and create chances and be that maybe even that late arriving player that would go in there late and get a shot out, or just be a danger at all during that phase of play of us attacking forward. He's not been. So I don't know. I'd really like to know people's opinions on where Kouyaté stands at West Ham right now. This is one of the big points I wanted to speak about on this channel. I didn't want to put it on my main channel. I wanted to put it on here, give you a lot of chance to think just tell me what you think. For you lot that don't support West Ham, would you have Kouyaté in your team? Let me know the teams you support, and let me know if Kouyaté would fit in your squad, and if you would have him in your squad, how much would you pay for Kouyaté? I want to know your maximum and your minimum. But you got to be realistic with minimum, because obviously everyone's just going to say, oh, 11 for free, 11 for a pound. But realistic prices, I want everyone to put their realistic, market value in there, given his age, given his abilities, given even his form. Even you've got to put it all into consideration and think of a sum that you would have him at your club. I would love to know in the comments below. Right, anyway people, I'm gone. Thanks for your time. Comment, like, subscribe, and as always, keep sharing my stuff. I'll see you all later.